Let's go over body proportions.
If you have a ruler, we're going to draw a straight line with 8 inches. And then if we cut it in half, let's see. I shouldn't have moved my ruler. We're going to cut it in half. There's 4 inches. And we'll just do a little tick mark for each inch line. And this is for realism. So if you can exaggerate these lines and change them up if you're doing kind of character design and things like that. But this is just a rule of thumb, and everybody's bodies are a little bit different, but we use this as a simple guideline. So I'm going to draw these little lines coming all the way across just so I could add some notes. I'm going to try to keep them straight. My paper always looks different, and I have to make sure I look up at the camera because the what I see of my paper always looks different than what I see on the camera. But this could be, it doesn't have to just be human anatomy. This could be, you kind of use these same reference points for anything that you're going to draw. But let's start with the head. We're going to draw our basic, let me move this down a little bit. I'll move this as we go. Okay, so we're going to draw our basic egg shape for the head. It doesn't have to be perfect or anything. This is just a sketch, so don't worry about making it perfect. But there's our head. Now, if you broke this line down and do a halfway mark, that's going to be our collarbone that we were talking about a second ago. So I'm going to draw the neck. It goes all the way down. It's not quite to the edge of the head. I try to draw this light when we first get started because they're just guidelines, and a lot of these lines will be erased, but we'll see. So here's our collarbones. Now, your body from the edge of the shoulders is basically the width of 3 heads. So if we penciled in, if we grabbed this head and made it the same size and put it on both sides, right down here, that's going to be the shoulders. Some people say 2. I like to do 3. It makes it, at least for a man, it makes him gives him very broad shoulders. Okay, now we're going to go all the way. We're going to go, let's see, there's 1 head, 2 head, 3 head, 4 head. So this line right here, that's halfway. This line here, that's 1 head. You don't have to write this if you don't want to, but it might help if you want to just take notes. But this line right here, this is going to be your underarm. Okay, let's jump down to the 3rd line. This is our belly button. Roughly. If you use these, if you put this up next to a person, you're going to see some of them might be off a little bit, but this is just general placement. This line here, that's going to be, or in here, that's going to be your fingertips. Right here is your knees. And right below this line is going to be your ankles. Okay, hopefully that makes sense and we could get started. So right here, we've got the edge of our shoulders. We've got our halfway point. That's going to be roughly, I like to go just a little bit under there, and I'll start making my little stick man. We want to keep it really simple. Maybe we could just draw some little ovals for the feet. And then typically your little stick figure arms would come out like that, but we're actually going to have them come from the shoulders. But for now, we're going to create a line from the knees. Do this pretty light because it's an imaginary line. I just want you to get the shape of the torso. This is going to be not necessarily a bodybuilder, but a somewhat fit gentleman, and create that V shape on his body. And then now we can draw our arms. Also, if you hang your arms to your sides and you drew a straight line across your body, right where your elbows or the crease between your forearm is and your biceps, you're going to notice that it's somewhat pretty close aligns with your elbows or your belly button. So we'll put our little point here, our little joint here. Put a line coming down. This is also going to be our wrists. You can see they align with, they should hang right around a little bit below your waistline, and then your hand. And the tip of your fingers go almost to this line, to that fourth or fifth line, but in between the fourth and fifth. So it's going to, your fingertips, if they were placed right to your sides, they're going to hang somewhere mid-thigh. And then your knees would go right above this line on both sides. And I know it looks a little funky right now, but this is where we're going to start putting it all together. Okay. From the shoulders, just put a line up to the bottom of that first line. Now we've got now we've got a little bit of muscle maybe to our guy. We're going to draw a circle here. Just a small circle. That's going to be the shoulders. And then we're going to jump down and just follow this line down. Here's the belly button. And right below the belly button, your waistline jumps out there. And you could start drawing your thighs. Hopefully you can see that, see how it's starting to come together. Okay. And then we could draw our calves down to our ankles. And this sketch isn't necessarily to make everything perfect and create a bunch of detail to your drawing. This is basically an exercise to help you get the proportions right. And we do the same thing in my anatomy class, but very similar to this. But you could do the same thing in mapping out the face. Like if you look at your eyes, if you're facing perfectly straight to the camera, your eyes are going to align with the top of your ears. Your nose are going to align with the bottom of your bottom of your ears. From the corners of your mouth, if you drew a line straight up, it's going to align with your pupils. So those are just little landmarks that you could use to help create accurate proportions to your drawings. Okay, so we've got this silhouette. Now we need to jump to the arms. So right before this joint, I'm going to curve it in a little bit. And notice it's going right at the edge of this little V shape, right? That's going to be the start of our biceps. And then let's go over to these shoulders. We're going to make this guy, I don't know, he's going to be pretty muscular. We're going to curve it. I don't know if you could hear my wife. She's watching the game. We're 49er fans, and they must have, I don't know if they scored or they got it first down, but I'm looking forward to beating the Rams. So you can see this line is coming in. It almost looks like our arm is going to be really skinny, but we're going to go back here and add the tricep. So now he's looking like he didn't forget arm day. And then we'll add the forearms. They obviously get thinner at the wrists. Do that on both sides. And then we'll do the chest. The fun part, this is always the funnest part for me. So if you look where this shoulder curves in and kind of overlaps, that muscle overlaps in front. And when you create, if you do draw a line like this, it's going to do two things. It's going to create the outline of that bicep and the start of the pecs. Everybody's body is a little bit different and their muscle is a little bit different. But when you do that, it creates this curve right here that would be the start of the biceps and curve into the pecs. And then you could just go almost straight across like this. But I like to curve it a little bit. And notice it's going to go a little bit under that second line, the underarm. Like that. Now for the hands, I always try to keep it really simple because we're just focusing on proportions right now. I'm going to draw the thumb. And have it kind of curve over like that. And then if you put a line right here, if you look at your hand and put your hand like this, where does your thumb end? You can see it's going down a little bit past, so your knuckles are here. So it's going to go a little bit past. It's almost aligns. I've got really short thumbs or stubby fingers, but it almost aligns with that first knuckle. So right around here, sorry, it goes past this knuckle, not this knuckle. So right here, that's your knuckle. Anyways, and then we'll draw the fingers. Fingers are 3 parts. 1, 2, 3. And then I just draw the little fingers like that overlapping. They're kind of off behind the rest of the hand. That's just a quick, easy way to draw hands, but you can see how far those fingers are hanging. They hang almost to mid-thigh. We'll do the same thing over here. We'll draw our thumb. And then we're basically just drawing one finger. And then you could draw the other ones, almost like he's ready to draw his, if he's got a sidearm or something, maybe he's a cowboy or in a Western. But that's just a quick, easy way to draw fingers.
We'll start adding all the details and shading in part 2.